Hello, everybody. My name is Greasy. Happy Pride Month, and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be a much different kind of video. Today, we're going to be mainly talking about my time at Walmart. I did 3 years of Walmart, man. It's when I first started this channel was because of Walmart, and because I was just like, oh, I don't want Walmart to be like forever, you know what I mean? I don't want Walmart to be a forever thing. Anyways, we're talking about Walmart. I worked in the meat and produce department at Walmart for around 3 years with, a litany of coworkers. People came and went all day, every day. It didn't matter. It didn't matter, bro. I never really got close with any of my coworkers because I never really had a chance to, either because I was too busy or it was mainly due to the fact that, you know, uh, or they would just go ahead and leave because of how stressful Walmart is. A lot of the reason why like you'd see like Walmart employees just sort of like walking around with soulless dead eyes or like they just look manically depressed all the time is mainly due to the fact of we all collectively hated our jobs. Me included. I didn't meet a single person at any of my Walmarts that I did actually work at who actively enjoyed working there. Everyone there hated it. No one enjoyed working there. And for good reason. Walmart is such a draining, monotonous place to work at, bro. Not only do you have to do physical labor, but on top of that you have to deal with managers and customers that for fuck's sakes, that none of them know what they want or what they're doing. The managers don't know what they want or what they're doing. The customers sure as shit don't know what they want or what they're doing. But I can give them what the fuck. I give them a little bit of grace, mainly because of the fact that they're not there every single day, unlike Walmart employees. When I tell you that Walmart is literally like walking around in like a limbo, like it almost feels like you're in the back rooms, bro. It feels like you're in the back rooms because you're just doing stuff. Like you're not actively there. Like whenever I would work at a Walmart, it like I was there, but not really. I was just sort of a drone, just sort of going about my day. While all of my managers were badgering me and begging me to do shit that I wasn't hired to do. You know what I mean? They're like, "Hey, can you go down to receiving and help out them?" I'm like, "I'm not meant to do receiving." They're like, "I don't care, go." Or or like they would be like, "Hey, do milk and eggs." I'm like, "Why do I got to do milk and eggs? Why can't you do it?" Because I got more important things to do. Like what? Sit inside your fucking office and, and chat about so and so for the 100th time, or sit there and fucking cry because you've wasted your life at a Walmart. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm going a little bit fast, but I've been trying to record this video for like the past, I would say like 2 hours, and I just haven't been able to get it down. This is like the fourth time I've tried to record this fucking video, and you know what? This is gonna be the last time. All right, so if I don't get it right, Editor Greasy, just edit it out. Just cut it out. I don't care how long it runs. If it runs for more than an hour, just whatever. We'll just cut it down, and we'll try and piece this Frankenstein of a video together. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Uh, dude, side note. I am so glad that I never had to do the fucking Walmart cheer shit. Like, thankfully, my Walmarts have never subjected me to such torture. Because that shit looks so just bad. Like, if you have some extra time on your hands, go and look at the Walmart cheer. I feel as if Walmart has this innate ability to cause psychosis within humans. Whenever I was there at Walmart, it would cause like children to cry. Like as soon as they would walk in the store, they would just start bawling their eyes out. Dogs would start losing their mind. People especially started losing their minds because no one wants to be there. It's like it's literally, I think there have been studies that Walmart or just stores in general are initially designed to be like unwelcoming or something. I can't remember what it was, but like the human brain hates being in a store because of how I think it has something to do with the LED lights, or I'm getting something mixed up. I'm pretty sure there was a story that Walmart was trying to replace all their LED lights with these new lights that trick the human brain into basically going into fight or flight mode so that people would move out of the store faster, which is insane if you think about it. I don't really feel like doing any research right now, but back to my actual time at Walmart though. I worked at the meat and produce section, and I hated almost there's days that I didn't hate it, but when I first started out, I was a bit of a dickhead. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't really help out my team all that much, and I would actively go out of my way to kind of just fuck over not fuck over. No, I wouldn't go out of my way. I would try to like do things that in my mind was hurting Walmart, but in fact it was just hurting the people in my initial vicinity. Because nothing I was going to do was actually going to hurt Walmart. It was just going to, you know what I mean? It was just going to annoy everyone else around me. Be like, why'd you do that? I'm like, I don't know. Fuck Walmart. But yeah, man, I never really had any trouble with coworkers. I've had more troubles with managers and team leads than anything else. And the main reason why is just due to the fact that they just cared way too much about Walmart. Like, bro, those people, those people cared about Walmart like it was their life, because essentially it was. When you become a manager at a Walmart, you're essentially signing your life away over to Walmart. You're signing your life away to the devil because you want some extra cash. But in turn, Walmart can call you down to the store at any given time. Doesn't matter if it's your day off or what. They'll call your ass down there and be like, hey, you need to help out everybody. Because guess what? Every Walmart that I've worked at is understaffed, underpaid, and overworked. Every last one of them. Actually, I've only worked at 2. But the 2 that I did work at were both understaffed and overly stressed. Weirdly enough, the one ran by a woman was actually less stressed out than the one ran by a man. So, if that doesn't tell you anything, I don't know. I guess you could something women bring on more welcoming environment than men, but I don't know. It depends on the person, not the gender. All right, this is not where I want to be. Yeah, managers cared way too much. I remember this one manager. He and we had some major beef. Like, it was like the first time I've ever actually had some major beef with somebody before. Like, well, not the first time, but the first time in recent memory I've had incredible amounts of beef with somebody. For the sake of the story, we are going to call him Gordy, because he's fat, and Gordy is a very fat name to me. Gordy was the head of milk and eggs. And mind you, the milk and eggs department did not have anybody for second shift. So, what Gordy would do, instead of, actively going out of his way to fill up the milk and eggs on his own, and actually taking care of his own department, he would constantly ask me or somebody or some other poor soul to do his work for him. Because he couldn't find anybody to actively take on the role of second shift milk and eggs. And I remember one day in particular, one very, very long ass day. I had just gotten off of break. I was walking over to produce, and he was like, hey, can you do milk and eggs? I sighed, and I was just like, all right, fine, I'll do it. So I do it. I start doing my thing, and then I get a call from my stepfather. Now, mind you, my parents, I have a good relationship with my parents and everything, but they don't typically call me for, my stepfather in particular doesn't really call me just to say, yo, what's up? Because he just always assumes that I'm busy, even though that's not always the case, but whatever. So he calls me up. He's like, yo, not yo. He just says, hey, your mom your mom's in a bad. Blah, 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 blah. Cut this out, Greasy. Here, let's just. That's it. So he calls me and he says, "Hey, your mom went to the hospital." I was like, "Oh." So obviously I'm worried about her. So I I go outside of this cooler that's holding all of the milk and eggs. And as I was walking down there, I see Gordy. He's walking towards me, fucking like he's walking towards me, and then in the middle of my conversation, he goes, "Hey, did you finish the milk and eggs?" And out of frustration, I just said, "Yeah, I did. Yeah, whatever." And now I'm not gonna sit here and like say like, "Oh, I was in the right." I think both of us. I think it was mainly a lack in communication between the two of us. But I feel like I just feel like Gordy could have been a little nicer about it. He's like, "Okay, it better be." And then I go into the break room. I talk to my stepdad about my mom who's in the hospital. And I'm not going to go into why, obviously. Anyways, I get done with that. I come back and he is fuming. He is fuming. He's frothing at the mouth to come and get me. He's like, "Well, you said the milk and eggs was done. I'm looking at the milk. The milk's not even touched." And I had already been through a lot that day. I sat there and just didn't even respond to him. And he's like, "Why are you always so nonchalant? Do you just not care?" And with every fiber of my being, I looked at him with a big ass smile and said, "Yeah, I don't." Because that's how I truly felt. I do not give a fuck about Walmart. "So this is just a job." And then he responds with, "So this is just a job to you, huh? It's just all about the money." I go, "Yeah, it is. Because why the fuck am I here? Why is anyone at a job that they hate? Why is anyone at a job to be there for fun, to hang out? No, I'm there to get fucking paid. I am there primarily just to get paid. And that's all I'll ever be going for a job for. Now, making friends and like making good relationships, that if that happens, great. That's awesome. But I'm primarily there to get paid. I'm not there to have fun and enjoy working. I'm there so I can get my money and leave. And he just never understood that about me. And then so this preceded our beef between me and him. Oh yeah, mind you, right after that, he dragged me. He didn't physically drag me, but he basically was just like, "Come here. You're gonna come help me with this." I was like, "Oh, okay. All right." And I sat there with a big ass grin on my face because I knew I managed to get him to actually do his job for once. I sat there with a big shit eating grin on my face. Because I'm like, wow, he's actually doing his work. Look at him go. Good job, Gordy. Anyways, we get done with it. And then this proceeded just this again, our beef wasn't legendary or anything, but it was still beef nonetheless. I remember one day he came by to produce and he's like, "You need to stop with those headphones of yours. I'm getting real sick and tired of having to repeat myself around you." And I looked at him and I said, "You know what, you wanna know why I wear the headphones?" He's like, "Go." He goes, "Why?" "Because the radios fucking suck." They do. Having to work at a Walmart and then listen to the same songs over and over and over again. You know that fucking K-pop Demon Hunters shit? Like the song, I think it's called Golden. I think that's what it's called, Golden. I've heard that song I don't know how many fucking times. Every time I hear that song, I want to wrap my car around a tree. But I looked directly at him. I just said, "Yeah, because your radio fucking sucks." And he just left. He's like, "Oh, okay. Yeah." I'm pretty sure. Also, another thing about that Walmart radio stuff, they also have like a podcast, I believe. I forgot what it's called, and I'm never gonna go out of my way to actually look for it. I might if people in the comments ask me to. But nah, I should wait. Anyways, yeah, they have a stupid radio podcast, and I have to hear like the little segments that they have as well, that they'll shout out the employees at Walmart, which I mean is nice in concept, but it's still just, I still have to hear it every single day. I would much rather just go without the radio. I would much rather sit in silence and just have my earbuds in and listen to my own shit. When I tell you the best days at Walmart were the days where like the radio just was not on and it was quiet, those were arguably my best days. Because I'm just like, yes, finally, some peace, some fucking quiet. Having to walk around a Walmart every single day with those LED lights beaming down on you. You don't know what time it is because everything just looks the same. It's just, it gets to you. It gets to you mentally and physically, and you just like, fuck, dude. I hated it. It just added to the monotony of everything. Everything was the exact same. You know, same problems, same fucking shit every single day. And work was never really getting done with the first shift. Like, the thing I noticed a lot about retail is that the second shift gets a lot of shit. Second shift got a lot of flack for just apparently we just didn't do our job. Apparently we just were sitting around with a finger in our ass every day, not doing anything, which obviously is not the case. I literally have photo evidence to prove otherwise. Because every day after work, I would make sure to take pictures of what we did that day, so that our managers can't sit there and say, "Oh, you didn't do anything today." Really? I have photo evidence. Please don't. I'm not trying to die again. I really don't have to restart this fucking recording. And then there's another manager I had beef with. So, in fact, I had beef with two managers. Her name, for the sake of the story, for the sake of you know, protecting people's names or whatnot, her name will be, well, we'll call her Carol. Now, Carol is a woman in her early 50s. She's a bit older, right? Older little white lady. Literally built like the Hunchback of Notre Dame type shit. And she is the type of person to be lazy, but then project her laziness onto other people. And what I mean by that is, she'll be lazy all day, not do anything, and then sit there and come in and yell at her team. Like, why did you guys not do anything today? Why did you guys not do what I asked you to? When literally, we have done more work than she's done in a fucking week. And again, photo evidence. I have it. Don't worry. She'll sit there and on her... She'll literally run around the fucking store all day doing absolutely nothing. And then when we don't do our, God forbid, we forgot one thing. God forbid we get one thing wrong, or we forget one tiny small thing to do. She will ride that shit into the ground and fucking rag on us all day long about it. She loved to hear herself talk. That was her favorite thing to do, was fucking yap, was talking, doing nothing but moving her mouth instead of actually doing her job. I'm sorry, I sound like such a douche. But, I mean, it's true, though. I can see. Sorry, I gotta lock in for a second. Anyways, she did a lot of talking. That was her favorite thing to do. Was just talk, yak, 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 yak. And every morning, not morning, but every afternoon when I started my shift, she would gather everyone around for like a team meeting, right? And these team meetings were basically just 1 hour long list of everything that we did wrong and everything that she did right and how awesome she is. She would sit there and brag to us about all the stuff that she did while putting second shift down. And that stuff gets to you, man. Like, as you can see, it got to me, bro. It got to me bad. Because in those scenarios, in my opinion, when you... We tried to talk to her, we tried to do this, we tried to do that. She just would never listen. It was like talking to a brick wall, bro. It was like talking to a massive wall that just wouldn't shut up. And I remember, I remember one day in particular. It was it was like the start of the day, right? I come in, she's like, hey, can you quickly scan everything real fast? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But, you know, I'm a creature of habit. So I'm like, okay, well, you know how I start every day? I start every day by, let me go get a bottle of water first. I was like, all right. Let me go get a bottle of water. I go get it. I go grab my bottle of water from the receiving end of the store, which is where they keep all the trucks and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I come back. And she looks at me, right? She looks at me with like that really angry white woman look that they give. Like, we all know the one. We all know that look. The look that they give when they pretend to be your fucking mom or some shit. And she's staring me down and she's like, "What did I tell you to do?" I was like, "Oh, well, I was just going to go get water real fast." Mind you, getting water in the store only takes about like what? Literally 5 minutes. Not even that. Like 2 or 3. Oh, hell yeah. 2 or 3, right? And she's like, she looks directly at me and she's like, she says, "I didn't tell you to get water. I told you to scan the inventory," in a very like managers talk with like a very condescending, like, "you're stupid" kind of tone. You know what I mean? Like, it's always been about tone that they could never get down. They always just had that tone with you. And again, I'm probably sounding like an entitled asshole, but it still just sucked because I'm there for 8 to 9 hours a day. And if she just said in a different way, like, "Hey, I understand you're getting water, but again, could you please just, you know," she could have just said like, "Hey, what were you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I was getting water." "Oh, okay. Well, I didn't exactly tell you that. So just next time, just quickly, just get through the inventory. All right, just go through the inventory." If she just said something around like that instead of just being fucking rude, I probably would have done it. I wouldn't be sitting here talking about her with stupid face paint on my face on a YouTube video while playing zombies. But here we are. So long story boring, I got in trouble for getting water, which is insane. I got in trouble for fucking getting water, bro. And I remember, and then, so next story I have for you, this one day. Now, the night beforehand, right? She's been talking all this shit. This is after like weeks of her constantly talking shit, constantly on my ass for literally everything. It didn't matter how much I did. It didn't matter how much I accomplished or how much work that I did. If in her eyes she saw that I forgot like maybe like 1 or 2 things, she was gonna say something and give me shit for it. It was always my fault. No matter what I did, no matter what I said, it was always my fault. If a fucking pallet was to fall on the ground and she found out that the string or whatever keeping it together was loose, and she'd be like, Connor, did you do that? Like, I would be like the first one she'd blame. I'm not even joking, bro. I'm not even joking. I wish I was, but I would always be the first person that she blamed because I was an easy target. Because I was the youngest guy in the room. I was, you know, I was this young 20-something-year-old, and she, well, I'm still a young 20-something, but like, you know what I mean? I was the young guy, so she looked at me, she thought I was going to be easy to bully. And so she sat there talking all this shit, and so I finally decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to try and actually get every single, like, literally everything done. Not just what she asked, but literally everything done. So, you know, I'm filling up the floor, and then eventually gets down to like almost 11 o'clock at night. There was a bunch of pallets in the cooler at the start of the day. By the end of the day, there was only like only like 2 or 3 carts, not pallets, carts that I had left. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just leave those there for them in the morning because they can just go ahead and, you know, run those. I thought, hey, that'll be fine, right? Now, mind you, at the time, I didn't know that you weren't supposed to leave carts. But I had done it so many times at my previous Walmart, and no one really had a problem with it. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave some carts behind. That's fine. I only left like 2. Yeah, it was 2. I left 2 behind. And so I spent the rest of the night until like 11:30. I was supposed to leave by like 10. So I spent an extra hour and a half being there. And sorry. And then the next day rolls around. I'm tired as shit, right? Had a long ass day the night before. And so she proceeds me to pull me aside. And she didn't, and mind you, what this is called in Walmart culture is called a coaching. And you're not supposed to have anyone around you during a coaching. And so she has everyone around us. Everyone around us while she's talking to me. And proceeds to sit there and badger me about everything that I didn't fucking do. Even though I did do those things. So she's sitting there lying to everyone saying, oh, you didn't fill this. You didn't fill the bananas. You didn't fill the salads. You didn't fill the fucking tomatoes. And again, mind you, the night before I didn't clarify this earlier, but I was by myself. So I'm sitting there, and I'm fuming, bro. I am fuming. I am staring at her with straight daggers, bro. I wanted... There was like, I wanted to scrap right then and there. There's only been a few times I've wanted to fight people, and those were one of those times. I was tired as shit. And I'm seeing her basically shit on me for doing my job. And trying a little harder to... It basically... And she was doing this in front of all of my coworkers, which she shouldn't be doing. I was so ready to throw my vest in right then and there. And honest to God, I probably should have, bro. I probably should have quit right then and there. She was like, how come you just seem to never do what I asked you to do? And I said, I did do what you asked. And I stayed until 11:30 labeling everything for you. She's like, I didn't ask you to label everything. I asked you to put... And at that point, I just stopped listening. At that point, I completely stopped listening. I was so done. I was so ready to just walk out. And the worst part about it was, like, she was talking all this shit without even looking at me. She didn't even look at me in the eye while talking all this shit. She was talking to she was basically talking to me while looking at everyone else. She was making an example out of me. So, yeah. That was like the one day I was so ready to fucking leave. That was the day I was like, you know what? Fuck this place. Walmart is not worth my time. And fast forward until recently, I'd finally gotten a new job. I'm not going to tell you what that new job is. Obviously, I can't. But it's much better now. A lot of my coworkers are a lot nicer. Actually, like I said, sorry, my supervisors and my managers are a lot nicer. But in short, bro, don't work at Walmart. It ain't worth it. It's too damn stressful, man. They like the managers and shit put too much stress on all of the people working there, all because they're too afraid of losing their jobs. Which, I mean, to be fair, in this current economy that we're in, bro, I get it. But you could at least not be fucking rude about it, man. See, what are some fun, like... Alright, well, that was enough of me whining about my old bosses, but... What are some fun... Alright, I'm gonna give you guys, like, one really funny customer story right before I leave. No, well, not right before I leave. I'm gonna give you one fun customer story. So, I was working in produce. This was during year 2 or... no, not 3. Fucking 1. This was during year 1 at Walmart. This is when I was fresh, when I was brand new at Walmart. I was working, I was trying to fill up the tomato section. I was filling up the maters. And all of a sudden, I hear a loud crash, like glass breaking, like shh, and a woman in the background going, ah! Sorry, my headphone warning. Turns out, a extremely rotund woman, extremely curvaceous woman, who was using the fucking, those little scooters that literally everyone uses, by the way. Like, those scooters are meant for fat people and disabled people, and yet I see regular people all the time using them and trying to, like, do, like, a bumper cart jousting with them. Anyways, the very curvaceous lady freaking backed up into one of those glass doors, one of those glass fridges that hold, like, frozen food. She was probably picking up a frozen pizza or something for her kids. She crashed into one of those doors and completely shattered it. And she was like, oh my... Ah! She was, like, sitting there like this, like, ah! 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 Oh my god! Ah! And all my coworkers and I look at each other and smile. It was a very fun day. She was completely fine, by the way. She didn't cut herself or anything like none of the glass luckily got on her. But, you know, it was just very fun. And, actually, back to Carol for a second. Actually, you know what's funny? Right before I left Walmart, I had learned that she left, bro. She quit. She had actually quit Walmart right before I left, so... But to be fair, it wasn't just Carol the reason why I left. One of the other reasons why was because of the pay. The pay was bad. The pay was obviously minimum wage. Even when you do go full-time, you don't make that much more. You only made like $1 more, I think, when you were in full-time. And also, they were also very loosey-goosey with the attendance system as well. So in Walmart, they have these what's known as attendance points. I don't know if I'm supposed to say all this actually, but their attendance points was like they couldn't decide whether to be strict or like be super loose with their attendance. Like I remember one day in particular, I was late like 3 hours. I was literally 3 hours late, and I still came into work. And they were like, and obviously I wasn't going to say anything to anybody, and I didn't get a point that day. But one day where I'm literally like 2 minutes late, I get a point. And these points, mind you, they don't leave your record for like 6 months. Like, you literally have to wait half a year just to get a singular point taken off your record. I'm probably getting that wrong, but that's what it felt like at the very least. It felt like it took half a year just to get 1 point taken off. And, yeah. But yeah, man, Walmart was so poorly managed, and a lot of the managers were, like, always scared of the general, not the general manager, but like the more corporate people. Like, they looked at the people that were coming in from the office like the fucking boogeyman. They talked about this one dude. I don't remember his name at all. But they talked to him like he was Baba Yaga, bro. They literally spoke of him like a thing of legend. They're like, we don't want to disturb Gary. We don't want to disturb Gary. And I'd be in full I'd be in befuddlement. Because you take one look at Gary, and Gary is just a normal dude. And all he would do is just point out what they were doing wrong. But Gary was also slick too. He like there were very few times I actually saw Gary. Like he'd hide in plain sight. He was like motherfucking Agent 47 from Hitman, bro. He would hide in plain sight. So, and all of the managers were scared of him. It was like the one thing they truly feared was corporate. I mean, to be fair, corporate was the only thing that was holding them accountable. And even then, corporate was barely holding them accountable for anything. There was no real accountability at Walmart. Like, the managers could literally just sit in the office all day and do whatever and not suffer any real consequences from it. Yeah, so while our managers were just busy doing nothing, we got all the grunt work. And it's insane to me how, and like, they were, you know, obviously they would push all of their I don't even know what I was going with that. Long story boring. Nothing got done. Everyone hated their jobs. I hated Walmart. And you know what? I'm pretty glad that I went there in a weird way, because it pushed me to actually work towards something better. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, toot my own horn and be all like, "Oh yeah, it was all me. I got really lucky with my new job," even though I hate having a job, but hey, man, it's better than Walmart. And, yeah, man. I don't really know what else to talk about at the moment, so I would say that's a pretty good place to end the video for the most part. So if you want more Walmart stories, if you want more of this style of content in the future, let me know. I got a few customer stories that still need to be aired out. I'm going to save them for another time, obviously. I spent so much time today whining about my managers and shit. I'm really tired. So, yeah, man, that's all I really have to say about it. So, yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.